I'll break it down the easiest. If you're a vibe coder, this is your cheat sheet. This is your absolutely cheat sheet for you. So when you go into create like to any of these language models and they ask you, you got this big window, what do you want to build? Right. And you're like, hey, I want to build a health app that helps me keep track of my calories and so forth and yada, yada, yada. And you might come up with like 3 or 4 different sentences to actually build it. Right. That's not enough to really start it. It's enough to start it, but not really to give you end to end. And what's going to end up happening is that you're going to spend a lot more time using credits, building prompts to create all those initial additional pages, more and more and more and more. This way, what this does, this creates an entire prompt of how to build it. It gives you all the specs of MVP 1, MVP 2, user journey. These are all the questions I would ask when I deal with clients. And then from there, we take those values and connect it to Claude. We had to use Claude for the hackathon, and Claude puts together a software engineering prompt for you that you just deploy right into Lovable.
And just from experience,
I love Claude.
I used Blue Mint yesterday, just kind of like testing around, tinkering. I love it. Like I created something similar, like a PRD generator, but I really like how you went into details, like the specs and like the features, because it really does help the platform, whether you're on Lovable or Bolt or whatever it is, to kind of one shot it, and it's so sweet. It's so sweet. So good shit on that one.
Yeah, it was just it's just something that we definitely needed it. I don't think we do the 2-factor. Maybe it does. Okay, it does. Okay, cool. Yeah. So
It'd be like
yeah,
that.
so we'll go through the process, and feel free to use like AI or something like that to help you kind of write out your questions and so forth, because we're going to put you on the spot here, and the better information that you have with this, I think the better output that you get.
I got an idea already. So I'll
Okay.
do, I'll show y'all what you did with Blue Mint is what I was trying to do on my own on Sunday. I kept on going back and forth with Claude to one shot this app. And the app is a discovery tool for AI and crypto apps. And so like I wish I would have not deleted the other versions because I had so many other ones, but I would just go back and forth. And I would I would go back and forth with just a one shot and see what it would come up with, because I realized that like the more that I added complexity or prompted it more, the worse it got.
Yeah. Well,
So
the reason why is because you're not giving it the full spec of what it is, of like what it's supposed to be in the long term, right? So like can I share my screen real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
And then I'll let you
and
get
then I
signed
learned
up.
real quick, also too, and this is something that I'm again, we're all learning on this, but context deterioration is a thing. So like over time, as you're inputting these prompts, the context of your app kind of deteriorates time.
Yes,
So, so
dude, that's exactly what it is. So
yeah.
for example, I've got this one I'm building out. It's called Vibe Code Social, right? And I went through the whole entire like the form process. That's the part that takes time, but you need that time for you to think about what you're going to build, because this is the problem. Everybody here that's listening, you guys are just building off little ideas. I want you to think big picture. I want you to think big here, right? And going through Blue Mint allows you to think through the bigger picture. So when you go into your language model with vibe coding, your language model has a better understanding of what you're trying to build. So when it's creating tables, permissions, roles, pages, it has way better knowledge of what you're going to build in the very beginning, instead of just giving it a simple prompt. Hey, I want to build a health app. And then what's going to happen is going to be like, okay, we built you the front page. What's next, right? With Blue Mint, you'll probably get like 3 or 4 pages, a better layout, more context. And I'm going to show you guys a cheat code of prompting to get the most out of your credits here today. That's going to blow your mind. And I'll show it to you here real quick. So can you see my screen here?
Let me add it to the stage. There we go.
Yeah. So with Blue Mint, once you log in, you get a dashboard, and you create Blue Mint, and this is what we'll go through here in a second. This form, which is 7 different phases, divisions, API, and so forth. But what I have is that I have one I created, Vibe Code Social, right? So this is a new app that I'm building out right now. So here how it looks like. You get a landing page once it's done generating, and here's your AI prompt. This gives you the prompt of actually how to create the code. So instead of you that's writing, you would probably write maybe like a sentence if you didn't have something like this, very small. This thing gives you the entire of how to create it. What is the permissions? What is the roles? What's the project overview? The core functionality, the user journey. When someone signs in, what they're landing on, what they're supposed to create, the technology requirements on the front end, React, the styling, Superbase already has that tied in. Real-time features of what you're trying to implement. So it knows what features that you're going to be adding ahead of time. MVP of what you're trying to build out first. And right here is the sauce. It's called future features. This allows your language model to know, hey, ahead of time, I'm going to build something in the future. So let me start getting my database structure. Let me start implementing my stuff ready to go. So when you're ready, I already have that schema or that logic already in the back of my head. And this is where projects fail because they built so small, they don't think long term, or they get to a point where like, hey, I want to build out more functionality, but the tables or the schema is not built like that, right? It's not ready for that. User experience and guides. So all you do is just copy this, go right into Lovable, and then you paste and then you rock. So with that, I was able to create this, and I'll show it here. You guys can see. And this took me, I'm probably about maybe like 50 credits in kind of troubleshooting. So it looks like this. You see my far left side?
No, I see the blue mint.
Oh my gosh. Let me stop.
Okay.
Let me present.
I have so many domains that.
Do you see this now?
No. Oh yeah. Hold on. Let me exit because I might have to reshare. Hold on. I had it on full screen so I could see better. Boom. There we go.
Awesome. So I took the prompt that I created with Blue Mint and dropped it in here. Right. So it did its thing. Yada yada yada. It took everything and it said, okay, let me implement the first vision. So it already knew for the MVP what to build out with the vibe tags, everything that I had already inside there as well. It already took my primary colors. It already set it up, and then it goes to connect to the Superbase, which is just dynamic, right? Connected to the Superbase. And then after that's done, instead of me saying, hey, let's work on like the about page or something like that, I wrote, what do we need to build out next?
Ooh, I love that.
Right. And what it did, it said, okay, based on of what you already current build, here's what we need to build on priority. Authentication page, user database. It already knows everything I need to build out ready to rock and roll. And this is me just hitting implement. And look how much is going to be implemented off that one credit.
Wow.
This credit here, authentication, database, project, content creation, API. This is about 6 different prompts that if I usually, what I would have done is would have tried to do one by one.
Me too.
Right. So I just saved 6 prompts, maybe I want to say maybe about 20 or 30 here, just rocking and rolling. Implement plan, boom, database. Look how big this big database dump was.
Wow.
So and I think it's so dope because like I was just gonna say it's so dope because it's like you provided the context, so over time it doesn't deteriorate. You're not having these issues that a lot of people are having. So good shit. Continue.
Yeah. So again, as you're building on, it already knows. So here's another cheat code for you, right? You go into Lovable, you go to project settings. A lot of you guys don't do this. Go to knowledge, drop that whole executive knowledge that you have from Blue Mint into here. So when it's building out, it already knows everything about your product in the very beginning. So every time it's building out, it already has a core functionality in mind, what it needs to build and so forth.
Wow.
So from that, anyways, I went through it. Obviously you have some, troubleshooting with some of the databases, how it's connecting with the schema. And then again, what do we need to build out next? And it says, okay, since we've already built out these, here are the next steps: real-time feeds, social apps, and so forth. All right, implement the plan. Boom, let's go, right? And then again, what do we need to build out next? Okay, let's do the likes and so forth. So within three prompts of me really prompting without trouble fixing, I've already implemented user-based functionality, likes, comments, schemas, and then from there, it's all UI. It's all UX UI, making it look pretty, visualization, making sure the login process is built correctly, and then getting pages to look flashy and stylish. So I think I've done this whole thing. I think under 60 or so credits, 51 credits. And it's already ready to ship, ready to go. So this would have took me originally maybe about 100 to 200 credits if I didn't use Bloomint easily. Boom.
Yeah, that's hard. I love that. That's fire. I'm definitely still in that. What do we need to build out next?
Yeah.
How many pages did it give you from that?
I just wanted 1 pages. So for right now, it's got a policy for me to build out, but it build out everything else based off of that. I've got other projects that I've used Bloomint that have built out additional sites. So this was a 1 prompt shot. I just added this, and I think that's three here, and this is what I got.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think features, products, and so forth. I think this is more of a 1-pager and so forth. I think that was just trying to troubleshoot. But there's some that I've deleted that had at least 3 or 4 pages, fully built out, ready to go, and getting onto it. So again, I don't think you'll ever get a one-shot prompt to make it look exactly the way you want it to. But the starting point is like how you really start building off of that. And then what I ended up doing is that I started trying to add if you guys are on X, right? I started trying to add a it's called Agora, like live streaming audio, right? Into it, and I was able to add all the user roles and start building off to that moving forward. So like again, it's laying that foundation of user roles, permission schema in the very beginning, understanding functionality, user journey. It's going to allow you to enhance your application a lot easier and run a lot less errors because it already knows how it looks like. And then on the back end, on Superbase, the schema looks perfect. And that's usually the hardest part for language models, is setting up the schema, which is what I'm saying is like the data tables connecting to this and connecting to that. Like what you talked about, Ms. Love, is that you had a bunch of different SRC pages. You had a bunch of different things that didn't need to be added. This way, this enhanced the entire process.
Yeah, that's so cool. I just my notebook is upstairs, but I'm taking notes.
So let's build one. Let's go through the process. Let's actually build one. I think we've got about like 30 minutes. I don't know how many credits you have, but we could run through some.
Sky is the limit. I have a lot of credits, so
let's do it. Let's try to stay under 20. Let's do that. Let's try to challenge ourselves.
I I have a lot of credits, so we can mess with my account for sure.
Run it.
And then on top of that, I have there's this Vibe Code community in New York that I've been going up there, and I kind of want to shift it to like it doing the same thing down here instead, but like they just go and co-work together, and then there's people at different levels that can help out with troubleshooting ideas and hey, Mr. Hackathon, troubleshooting ideas and all that good stuff. So when I went up there, this guy Brennan, he has can you see? You can't see the extension. God damn it! I hate that's so annoying. But there's an extension that I'm clicking on right here. It's called Vibe Aggregator, and basically you put your prompt in, and then you can run your Vibe code through Replit, Lovable, VO, Bolt, and Scrollbook at the same time. So we could also do that. I mean, maybe not right now. We could focus on Lovable, but that's also something that I want to experiment with Bloomint with and see like, okay, I got this prompt. Let me one shot it in these different apps and see what happens. I've been doing the same thing with VO, V0, and Lovable, and Lovable always looks better, but I don't always feel like it's the best, but it always looks a lot better. It looks a lot cleaner. So what I'll do is I'll show y'all what I one shot it, which was basically it's like a Tinder for discovering Web3 and AI apps that make you more money or save you time. So I didn't get a real home screen, but like the landing page, like you go through an onboarding. Where is onboarding? Boom. You go through an onboarding, you ask questions, it asks you different things. I wanted to have different formats for the questions. I'm on the fence about this also. I think a chat may be even better, but You answer questions. Based off of the questions, it asks you, like, you find your path. So do you want emergency fund? No, you swipe it away. Look at that. Is it working? There we go. I'll just exit. Do you want automatic savings? Yes. Do I want budget assistant? Do I have crypto? Whatever. You click the things that you like, and then after that, you can start swiping apps. So you can swipe,
I like that
app, or you can swipe this. Well, clearly you see my swipes are just not working. But you can swipe micro investor, and long story short, what you end up doing is, it swipes your way to a timeline of different apps that it will recommend for you. So gives you a wealth score, you see your achievements, it automatically tells you what you're going to start with now. So it's your emergency fund, maybe you do something else, and then you just see your activity. You have a timeline of apps, so you can see what's up next, so the things that you swiped. And then lastly, there's a community where you can see what other people are doing, and you can like what they're doing. And I would change the share to so they can actually explore the app too. But this was from One Shot, and it's also black and white from One Shot, because I realized, like, adding on the complexity of the brand with the way I was one-shotting was not helping me as much as I wanted it to help me out. So I'm going to go to Blue Mint now and create my first blueprint. So it's high five. And I'm going to use, so is it, oh, I have a question. So I have my one shot the prompt that I use to one shot. Can I?
Yeah. So take your shot, the one shot that you have, and copy it. Is that it right there?
No, it's here. Hold on. I gave it context, and I said, do not code, talk to me. And then I gave it the rest of it.
Okay. So take that.
Okay.
Since you already have something to start with, go to Claude. Go to Claude and just paste that in there real quick, and just be like, here's some information about my project. I just want you to understand it. So this could be your idea that you guys have already, that's already cooking in your brain, right? So you might have it down in a pen and pad or a notebook or a Google Docs, right? The one that you create at 2 a.m. when you can't go to sleep, right? The cookbook, we call it. So go ahead and paste that in there.
It's right here.
Yeah, and just submit that, and then go to Blue Mint AI and just copy the questions for what's the problem that you're trying to solve, what's the one sentence, copy all those. Maybe you can go side by side screen, so it's a little bit easier to copy and paste.
Okay, hold on. How do I do that?
Just drag that to the far left, all the way to the left. Take it out of there, and then
MacBook.
Yeah. Like, so you have one screen on the right, one screen on the left, like Claude on the right, Claude on the left.
Oh, like just two windows. But I feel like there's a better way to do this. I'm going to do it the old lady way, whatever. Don't judge me, but I'm just going to make it small. There's probably a way. And I'm going to share my entire screen instead of my window.
Yep. So this way, so if you're first starting off, I think you can obviously use AI a little bit to help you kind of get your ideas. But when it comes to writing style, I think this would also help improve as well.
Okay. And I want to give it this context too.
Yep.
And then I'll put, oh, that makes so much so much more sense. And also, I guess with this process, what I recommend to people when they're using these, I'm going to reshare, stop sharing and reshare. When they're using these things is like your very first time or your very first whatever, like just use your voice. Don't type out, just say what you want to do. And then because when you say it, it's a lot easier than trying to type. The thought process gets interrupted.
Flows.
Yeah, the flow is interrupted. So I highly recommend Whisper. I have a invite code. I have a discount link if you want. But Whisper, you just press a little button on your desktop and you just talk, and it dictates for you, it edits for you. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to ask it. So now I'm going to go to Blue Mint and ask it there we go. The questions here.
Yep. And just paste all the questions. Paste all the questions at once, so then you get that one shot ready to go.
Oh, got it.
Be like, give me the answers, based off of this, and this will speed it up for people that are watching. So Addie, what did you, and while she's doing that, what did you create on Blue Mint? What were you trying to test out? I think you might have took a bathroom break.
Oh, he may have. I feel like I hear. Why would it let me copy and paste? Don't hate. Hold on. Okay. Okay, bet.
As you're doing this, I'll just kind of talk through this a little bit. So this form here was really set to help creators or people that are building applications, website, landing pages, SaaS products to really understand, to think like a product engineer, right? Sometimes you just have a certain idea, but how do you come to life? How do you think about the whole entire spectrum of a software development process? So we go through six different steps. The first one that Mrs. Love is completing is the vision, right? Completing the vision. The next one, which I think is really important, is the user journey, right? And the user journey is really how the client is going to interact with an application. Fun fact for you guys, 90% of people never return to a website if they have a bad user experience. Who here has ever gone to a website and the experience sucked? It didn't work the way it wanted to. It didn't load fast. Images were shrinky, and you just had a bad experience. We're now in a consumer world where, more and more people are expecting faster websites, better user experience, to be fully ready for mobile and all that perspective, right? So you're expecting all that kind of into place to begin with. So now, the user journey really helps you kind of implement that and ask you, what's the main things users want to do, right? What is there, describe in key steps, what will they take, for them to sign up? What pages on your screen does your product need to have, right? What should happen after they sign in? Should they go to the profile page? Should they get loaded to the news feed, right? These are the things that are most important through the user experience. After that, we go to features and functionality. Now, this right here is when you're vibe coding, this is super important. It lists what are the three most important parts of your MVP. When you're creating any product, don't try to shoot for a final product. Just like Ms. Love said, shoot for that beta, right? Shoot for that beta, that first iteration, but also think about what it's going to look like for version 2. Right. And keep those things in mind so you can always build off of that, because your beta might be just enough to get you started and getting rolling, or for you to realize what I built is probably not what people want. Maybe it was a dope idea, but maybe no one wants to use it. Right. Then I can refactor instead of spending hours to be like, okay, let me refactor and build something a little bit more in time. Then it goes into the next part, which is the API and data and API. So this is for, like, say that you're trying to integrate Discord or Spotify or anything like that you can think of that you maybe don't have yet or don't know. Just having that perspective already will kind of give you validation of that. So maybe you want to connect Google Analytics to it, right? Maybe you want to connect authentication, right? Just putting that in place now into the Blue Mint will help you kind of go through that process. Now, we are kind of, I wouldn't say cheating, but we're kind of speeding up the process because we're feeding it to Claude, but Claude is exactly the one that's going to feed it back to you. Then the next one is one that people don't think about, or they kind of think about, is like their business. How are you going to monetize? How will this product make money? And this what gets people to think, and they're like, damn, I wasn't ready for this form. I wasn't ready to think of, but this is good. You really want to think about, okay, are they going to do a free tier? Are they going to do a premium tier? What is the right functionality of how you want to make money through this process?
I would pick out there a few. I would definitely. I thought about this. I thought about freemium and partnership revenue. Honestly, the most, and then
the ones that you want. Yeah, the ones that you don't want, don't bring them in there. Don't make it more complicated. And again, we're shooting for a minimal viable product when we're doing this. And then the target launch date, obviously, when do you want to launch and so forth. This is, again, more, it's up to you. You can put a certain date. It doesn't matter. You can put let's do
16 weeks. What world is this?
No. Do like May 1st, 5/1/2025. And then hit next. Now, this right here is probably the most important part. And this is the part where Lovable just gives you their ranky-danky, I don't say ranky-danky, just their template base. This is where you can actually say, hey, I want this color palette, I want this color design and so forth, and kind of give it that visualization. So when it starts building it, it already knows what your brand and colors are and so forth. Yep. So usually when people are vibe coding in the very beginning, when you get that prompt screen, they're only putting a bare minimum, Addy. I know you're with me on this because I'm sure you've done this. This is what I did. I put just a bare minimum, and then over time I was like, okay, now we need to change the color to this. Yeah. Then we need to change the color to that.
I have a color palette. I just don't know where the hell it is.
Drop it. Oh yeah. If you have a color palette,
I do. I had thought about this last year.
Yeah. So I noticed that what happens is too, just to kind of chime in on that, like as you're, let's say for example, you one shot it, but then you forget your brand and like your visuals and your palettes, it kind of trips up the platform a little bit. Because now you're going back and forth on the color aspect, and it kind of just creates a whole clusterfuck of just refactoring and like now going back to doing the the errors. So it's better to just one shot it, give it the context, give it your brand and visuals, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I've gone through that issue. Is like, hey, my color palette is black and blue. Why is there a green button? Oh, my fault. I didn't realize that there's another green button on this page, right? So like, setting that standard. And this is what happens when you're in real software engineering. Before you start building out the product or the UX UI, you need to get the requirements. You need to get the specs. You need to get the brand guide, right? And you need to be able to hand that over to the development team in the very beginning, so then they can start building that out, right? And they know what they're building. With vibe coding, you might just take whatever template version that they have, and then you try to build onto it. And that's where things get a little bit, I wouldn't say challenging. You can still figure it out, but probably not the best practice for you, if you're trying to save credits and time, because you're going to get into this, I don't know what the right word is for this. Maybe Addy, you can come up with it, or Ms. Love, when you're just constantly fixing little small errors over and over again, burning credits. There has to be a name for it.
I don't know. It's like preemptively crashing out. That's what it makes me.
Yeah, I know that when it pops up, it's like refactoring. I'm not sure if it's like refactoring the right verbiage for it, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. So that was the big problem for me when I was first building out. I was like, damn, I just told you this like 10 minutes ago, or you should have been smart enough to understand that. And again, it's not the language model's fault. It's the user's fault. I'm not doing a good job of being your project manager, your product engineer, to give you all of that, right?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So with Bluemint, and you asked me like, what I was building. So I'll tell you that first. I'm building a tokenomics like generator where it designs and like tokenomics models via AI. So that's what I'm building on Bluemint using that. But you're taking this from a product engineer perspective. Mm-hmm. You think that there are any key differences from a product manager perspective and from a product engineer perspective, or is it similar?
Man, I think a product manager is the one who's making sure, from my perspective, just things are going in line. And I think that's where the vibe coder is. That's where you come into place and make sure that you're building in the right steps and you're managing the right, what we like to call agile methodology, sprint cycles, right? Yeah. Are we building these things in the right order to build out the application? So I think the product engineer has to understand the full scope, but you have to have someone that understands what things need to go in line for it to build out moving forward. And I think the Bluemint helps kind of underland that. And that's what we showed you in the prompt of like, okay, what do we need to generate next? Right. And I think that's where you can kind of, you as a product engineer or product manager can decide what's more a higher priority to build out first. What's going to be more of a complex problem that you see. And language models makes mistakes, but if you have a human eye, I think you're able to really, tap into that even a little bit better. Yeah. Good prompt over there, Miss Love. I saw what you just did. There you go.
Oh yeah.
That was a good one.
Gotta work on.
Yeah.
I think Cash App has the best branding in tech, period. Like if you look, it's like a masterclass.
Perfect. So real quick, before you hit submit, let's go full screen on Bluemint real quick.
Okay.
So for the people that are watching, if you go back to your previous, it'll still save everything. Okay. Keep going back to previous, all the way back to the very beginning. So what you just did was to explain your vision, which is most important. This is usually where a lot of prompt engineers just start. Just let me just get my vision out there, right? I'm just a visionary. I don't know anything about code, right? Right. Now that you got your vision, you go to the next prompt. And then this is where you start thinking about the user, probably the most important person on your app. You might have the most dopest app. You can probably solve the biggest problem. But if you are not thinking about how your users are going to be using it, game over. No one's going to be using your stuff, right? Where we talked about 90% of people, if you come into a bad application or site, you're gone, right? So that's where the user journey experience is, and also understanding what pages are they're supposed to be having is for. So let's go to the next page. Features and functionality. Okay. Again, what features are going to be good for you to roll out? And like, again, the sauce here is what features that you have for MVP 1 and then also for MVP 2 for the future stuff as you move forward. I think that's going to help things along the future. And we go to next, data and APIs, how things are going to be stored. Sometimes a lot of people don't know. So, they might put, I don't know, but we have some good context here.
Okay.
Hit next. How would it make money? You already have your free premium. You're already thinking about this stuff, right? You're not thinking about this stuff a couple months ago, and you obviously want to deploy in a month. Then you put your entire brand guide and visual. So let's actually hit create and generate with Blue Mint AI. So what this does, it takes all your values that you have that you've actually inputted inside. Oh no, we've got a failback. Uh-oh. It timed out. Okay. Not good. Let's go back to we'll start this again one more time.
Back button?
Yeah. We might have just timed out.
So we were in there for a while.
Yeah, I think so. So go back there, and then I'm gonna do something real quick. So that was the biggest challenge during the hackathon, honestly, was dealing with the payload when people add in a lot of information into it. So let me go into Blue Mint real quick, and I'm going to go into your authentication. I'm going to give you some more tokens as well.
Okay.
And yours is what's up?
Should I recopy paste?
Or no? Yeah. We'll have to recopy and paste here in a second. So let me just give you some more credits on your end, so you're ready to go.
Has this guy got a YouTube channel? He's dope. Someone asked. Talking about creative.
Do I have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, he's asking. Well, I'm gonna drop him your X account.
I do have one.
Oh, you do? Okay, boom.
Okay. You're good to go. I just loaded you up with 5 more credits, so you should be ready to roll. Okay. So we're gonna have to go through that one more time. I apologize.
Okay, it's all right. It's all right.
Part of building.
Yeah. So honestly, during the hackathon, Addie, that was the biggest challenge. The API tokens and the payload. Being able to take all that integration and put it in there as well too, and take it from one end to the other end. So there's like a certain limit of how many characters or characters that you can put into it. So that's something that I probably need to troubleshoot. So this is actually great for you to put in this information. And I think that's why it says one sentence. So I think that's why, you're adding a lot of content maybe took too many tokens, but that was the biggest challenge with Supabase, is taking that entire values, putting it to Claude, let Claude doing the API, and then spitting everything back out. I think that was like the super challenging part that we ran across.
Makes sense. About how long was your troubleshooting with that?
I think development within the 24 hours, I think out of 24 hours, I probably spent about 6 hours troubleshooting.
That makes sense. Same.
Yeah, troubleshooting AP, because I've never connected Claude APIs before. That was a whole learning curve. And I also connected the entire Stripes integration. I had the whole thing set up. I did way too much.
You did enough. You did a lot, bro. That was really good.
So I think that was like a massive challenge itself. But through all those things, I actually realized, man, this is what we need. This is going to speed up my entire environment process through it. So, like, again, it's you go through these processes and you learn and so forth. So it's just part of the learning.
Someone asked, "This is fire. Is there an app or AI agent which can build out for me?" Can you elaborate on your question? Right.
I think the AI agent is Lovable or a bolt that you take this into.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the question. Okay, great, yeah. See? Boom.
And if this does fail again, I think it's because Claude gave us a lot of information for us to copy and paste. But this is good. This is good testing for me.
Well, you too, because maybe the prompt for Claude, like the original prompt, can give it some constraints.
Yeah.
So that way it'll produce the needed amount of info, because it is a lot. You're right.
Yeah,
and it already was starting from a lot.
Curious to know. I know you got the marketplace in Blue Mint on AI. Is that like the next step for you for Blue Mint evolution? Because I think this is a great product overall.
I'm gonna actually ask my community. I'm gonna say, hey, what do you guys think? Because if you're someone that doesn't like the code and has bomb ass ideas, just create your Blue Mints and then just show your executive summary stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't want to build something that no one's going to use, because I've done that many times before previously, where I like build out. So I think this is where I have to ask feedback from like my friends and be like, okay, what do you what should we use this? Are you going to use this or not? Because I don't want to spend time building out something and then realize, hey, no one's going to use this shit, right?
Right.
Because it's happened to me multiple times.
Well, I think it's like to me, it's okay to do that when you're working the muscle. I think you need to build up a muscle sometimes, and it's okay as long as you see it through. Because then the next time, this wasn't your first build. Like, you've been building over and over again, and so now you're at the point where you're like, I need to build something people can use. Versus a lot of people who are new or novice to it need to work the muscle and build up the patience, to like get to where you are, where you can do this in 24 hours. Because like I feel the same way. I mean, I kind of feel like, well, high five, no one uses it, I'm glad I built it, and then I'll move on to the next idea and the next idea.
Yeah. And then you get better at prompting, better vibe coding, because you learn from your experience. Hopefully this works. If it doesn't work, then I think our value might be too. Yeah, I think our prompting that we're putting into it might be too.
But it's still, so how do you know when it says it was unavailable? What is this then?
So that's your information that it has for the application, but the actual AI prompt did not get inputted as well too. So you still have an entire executive summary of what you build out. So you've got the whole prospect ready to go. It's already written out for you.
But it hasn't been like Blue Mintified. Like, it didn't get the magic.
Exactly. And I think because like I think we reached the max of tokens that you put into it. So maybe in Claude, just say, give me all the answers again, but in a shorter version. I think that's what it is. And I think that's where I need to maybe add a little bit more restraints on the form, because this is the challenging part when you're dealing with language models, is the tokens, right? We have a limit of how many tokens can be sent and how many tokens can be put out. If you don't do that, your credit charge of what you put in is going to rocket of your expenses. So that's why we put those clauses and so forth regarding that. So I think this will 100% work now that we've got into a smaller phase of it as well too. On the back end, what I need to do is be able to accept more tokens. I think for the hackathon, I think we just made it through a smaller perspective.
I think too, maybe also like add character count, like character limits, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think a character limit would definitely help. So then it knows how many tokens through it.
Hold on, I'm gonna say no.
I love this, learning in real time. This is what it's
about. I'm literally your queen. If you want to see if something's broke, come to me. I don't break it on it.
Yeah, like, no, this is good.
I don't know why every fucking product that I touch, I feel like the use case or the edge case, I am that. Or I think so literally, like very, very literally, that I'm using it in a different way. Like when Addy had his live session, and he was like, we're going to make a blind dating app. I'm like, oh, for blind people, like a blind, like everyone else is like, no, it's not it. And my first thought was, oh, well, you need voice recognition, all these things that just don't count. So yeah. this is all always good because then the next
No, I
person will be
appreciate you guys doing this. This is like the first iteration of getting it out there, and then also for me to know like, okay, what do I need to enhance and build off of it throughout the process. And this is why you need beta testers when you're releasing a product. Have you guys ever heard of like the YC program, the YC contributor program with they have at Silicon Valley? Before I launched Webby Social, I did like 400 hours of watching of how to release a product and so forth. And it talked about, just like you talked about, releasing a beta version, right, as soon as possible and get user feedback as soon as possible. So getting that initial in the very beginning really allowed, how would I say this? It really allowed me to understand of how to approach it, how to attack and how to release a product, because you're also competing against millions of other people that are out there that could have that same idea. And we're in a consumer world where it's so easy for any consumer to go from one blockchain to the other blockchain, right? Yep. Oh, it might be popping, right? Or this NFT project might be popping as well too, right? So, or this event is popping. So how do you stay top of mind? And I think having a user experience, human-centered design approach and asking feedback along the way, and make sure that you're building products for the actual users along the way, instead of just guessing of what they want. And when we released Webby Social, we had a jobs feature where we allowed for people to post if they were open to working or not. We did a survey, and I want to say like 30 people filled it out. 0 people used the job functionality. And that was the hardest part to implement.
Wow. Annoying.
Feedback loop is important.
Yeah. So sure. if you guys are listening, if you guys are product owners or building SaaS, as soon as you get your product to a point where like you can log in and do shit, reach out to your community, your Discord community, be like, hey guys, go bang on this. go let's get some feedback. Let's see what's going to work, what's not going to work, and so forth. Let's see how far we can actually take this process. And I think once you get that, you actually get some good minimal viable answers, and you can also figure out what you're going to build next based off the acceptance. And not only that, the users love that, because they realize, man, this founder is actually paying attention to me. Mrs. Love is actually listening to what she's saying. I want to be able to swipe right, and then I want it to shake and show me a new person, right? The app that Addy built is a lot better, because he actually took, and it makes them feel like they're part of the journey through the application. So getting people like that on board in the very beginning makes a big difference when you're trying to ship products to a whole different level.
And that's how you create loyalty,
Yes.
Being able to,
brand.
Loyalty is everything. Yeah, exactly. Right. And that's something that I said 2 weeks ago in the Vibe Code 101. Like, your idea is going to shape shift depending on your community, your users, who's using your product. Because you may have this one idea, but this one idea, it's going to change over time, and that's okay. Because you're not the main user, your community is, your users are. So be flexible.
All right, let's see if we can generate it.
That person.
All right, we're cooking. We're good. Yeah, so that's what it is. I think you had just too many. We had too many tokens that were cooking in the back end. So it's good. I got to put some limits. I think I had a prompt that had like 8,000 tokens coming out. So it was pretty gnarly. Like I said, this was the hardest part, is figuring out the tokenomics of when you're dealing with AI implementation. So what it's doing right now, it's taking your values, talking to Claude like a product engineering, and putting everything together. So now, here you go. You're ready to go, Miss Love.
Party, yay!
All right, so let's go full screen on this, and let's kind of walk through what we came out with this iteration.
All right, so full screen, and then walk through it.
Yeah. So on the left-hand side, you have an entire. Who here has ever heard of Notion? Anybody here ever heard of Notion? Raise your hand. Right, Notion, Discord. We wanted to give that same functionality for developers, so we created this left navigation menu. So if you want to go down to the user journey, you can click the left navigation, and you can just get prompt to just that section of that app. We probably need like a scroll back up to the top, right? So easier for you to figure out what you want to do with it. And again, it gives you the entire AI agent, the prompt. You can copy from that direction and paste it. There you go. There you go. See, now you're cooking. Now you're using
You
tools.
can see it. That's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this is.
yeah.
I'm not logged into all of these. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. You probably need to sign into it.
Yeah, let me log in. What's my login replit?
That's interesting. I'm curious to know what like what it would
Yeah,
do.
100%. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's the foundation of it, right? It's the foundation of building it, putting it into place.
So I'm gonna just reduce some of my tabs.
Tab
Mania. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna reduce some of them so I'm gonna try this thing again to see if it works.
Okay.
And if not, I'm just gonna go straight to Lovable. I'm in VO. I should be logged in already, y'all. Oh, that's fun. So I got distracted. Oh, it's building in Bolt right now.
Awesome. So let's go back to let's go back to Bluemint real quick. So we'll talk about this real quick. So on the dashboard page, go ahead, let them cook.
Bluemint, hold on. Yes.
Okay, so we've got the AI agent side on this side, and then what I like to have is the executive summary. So when you're explaining it to somebody or a YC company, here's the summary of it. So you don't have to tell everybody what it is. Here's your entire ready to go. And if you do have 11 Labs API keys, you can plug it in there and it can play back to you. 11 Labs is super expensive, so I'm not even.
Is it?
Hell yeah.
A little bit, and I've downloaded some, but you know what? This made me think about like vibe creation, like add a voice, add a face to it, and then you have a face pitching your app or like giving your executive summary immediately. That's
MVP 2. Here we go. So you have the executive summary, and if you go up to the top, and you can hit download PDF. Now what you have is if you open it, it's a I would say a certificate of your idea when you build it. What day did who? No one can take my idea because I build my shit, and this is what you can hand over to copywriting rights, your executive teams or investors, and say we generated this idea at this date. We weren't playing around. Here's a blueprint verified copy of when we built.
I like that. I like that
a lot. And then if you go back to the AI age, go ahead.
I'm gonna just throw it in there, let it cook.
You could let it cook.
It's still cooking in. Problem, show problem, terminal error. I guess attempt to fix it. I hate when that happens. Like, why you got a problem already? Like, what?
So if you go back to Bluemint, so we talked about the AI agent summary. We got the executive summary. Now, if you go all the way down to the very bottom, once you review everything, you can copy and then just deploy right into Lovable and so forth. So we have those buttons ready to go, and then you just copy and paste. So we just kind of streamlined the process. You kind of went ahead of us, so which is great. And then there you go.
Got you.
So if you go back to Bluemint, we'll just talk about the user dashboard as well. Go back to hello, hit dashboard. Right now, I know we created 2 other ones as well too. Right here's all your prompts, all your dope ideas in one dashboard ready to go whenever you need it. Now you don't have to go into Lovable, scroll all the way up to the top, try to find and try to match all the cool shit that you put together to build it out. Right? This has everything for you. So we give everybody a free credit. If you're watching the live stream right now, just do a Bluemint hashtag, and I'll give everybody here that's listening 3 credits. So you guys will be able to mint 3 ideas on us to sponsor and support the show. So just make sure that you comment Bluemint underneath here, and then we'll make sure that we'll get your email. We'll give you guys some more credits as we go through the system. And the bottom right, you see where it says need help. Start a call.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, who am I going to talk to?
Yeah, so this is an 11 Labs agent, so you can agree with it and ask them, tell me about the lease system.
Wow.
You
got to accept the far left, the top left.
Oh.
Ask them about the lead system.
What about the lead system? Tell me about it.
I don't think you're sharing your audio, but.
Oh, he heard me. Oh, he heard.
So we dropped our whole entire knowledge base into this. So this would be your customer service that you can use into it. So you can ask about your tokens, your blue mint, how to use it, and so forth. We can't hear it on our end because I don't think you've turned your audio on.
Oh, he was rapping. He was talking about the he was talking about the movement system. Exactly what you were saying. Okay, cool.
So that was one of the things about the hackathon. You had to figure out how you can connect 11 labs. Yep. One thing that I did that failed, I want to share with you guys. If you go to Mint Idea up at the top, I was going to remove for you to do text and for you to do audio.
I love that.
But listen to me, guys. The user experience was very hard because you felt pressure to answer all that very quickly because you know another question is coming. So it's like, all right, tell me everything about your MVP one approach. You're like, oh shit. You try to wrap it really quick, and it felt like pressure for user experience through it. But we did have that integration in the very beginning, and I had to troubleshoot and revert back to remove it because sometimes about texting, you can slow down, get your ideas, go to Claude, go back and forth and so forth. The audio was a little bit of different user experience as you move forward.
Everybody's still cooking. Oh, they never even built. Did I not press the button?
It says that you got too many.
I got too many. What on Replit? Can you see?
Yes, you.
I wonder why it's not just start building. You have too many repeal. What's that mean? What does that mean, Replit? I only got 2 projects in here.
Let's see what Lovable's got. I want to see what Lovable is cooking up.
Oh, okay. Get your journey.
Oh.
Let's get to know you. Answering these questions.
Damn.
That's badass.
Wowzers.
Yeah. So now you can start cooking up. It's got now you can start cooking up the UI perspective. Look how far it's gone already. Right. Oh, whoa. Oh,
the swipe works though.
Yeah.
It works. It's so interesting. I want to combine both.
Gooey. So here we go. Here we go. With this, now you've got a little bit of a groundbreaking to actually start the application, right? Now, if you go down to the bottom, I'm sure you'll probably have to connect the database, but here's the next part. If you go to your project, this is the thing that we talked about. Go to your project settings.
Oh. Where is that in here? Yes.
Yeah. Go down to your project settings. Go to knowledge base. Drop your Blue Mint information right here.
The executive summary or the whole prompt?
You can do the whole prompt, but grab the right blueprint. This isn't the right one.
Oh, yeah, this is not the right one.
So you just copy up at the top.
Yes, sir.
And then you put that right there in that knowledge base. Now, any single time you build, Lovable is going to have a better deep knowledge of what you're going to build on and know what it's going to build on. So if you go down to the very bottom, you probably need to connect to the Superbase or something like that. But if you do, right, what do we need to build next? Just put in there, what do we need to build next? Hold on a second. What did I have? Let me give you the right prompt. I put in.
What would you put? What do we need to build next?
Yeah. What do we need to build out next?
I wrote it down. Oh, you know what? I realized the community page probably isn't on here because the top 3 prioritization is the personal profile, the swipe, and the time, or the onboarding and the timeline. Because I was like, where's the community page? I like both of them equally.
Good.
I'm like on the fence. I mean, this is like, it's so different. And it's better in some ways, but then not better in some ways. Like the onboarding is more detailed to how I want it to be. But then like the profile here is a lot better, like a lot better. Like,
look what you just said, community. That's the first thing it wants to build out next. It already knows what you literally just said this 5 minutes ago, what we need to build, right? Actions, achievement, notification system, settings page, analytics dashboard, Superbase. So like you're cooking, right? You're ready to go, right? So here's the other part too. Before you start building out, go to your mode at the bottom, select chat mode. And what did you tell me? What was the one part that you wanted to enhance?
The swiping.
Yeah. So talking about it, be like, the user swiping, So before you guys are throwing prompts into Lovable, here's another cheat code. If you're watching, don't go straight into default mode. Go right into chat mode. Chat mode, what it's going to do, it's going to think about the logic, the process, and it's not going to implement it off the break. It's just going to reply everything back to you before you implement it. So you're not going to waste your credit. So you can make sure they're doing exactly what you want to do. So what you see on the left-hand side, here's all the pages that are going to change based off that one prompt. Here's everything. Does this make sense? The current status, how it all obviously connects to your Blue Mint integration cards that you've already put in there, right? And now, if that looks good, then you go down. Then you can hit, like, again, boom, implement. Now it's ready to cook. Now it has the full instructions instead of just taking your basic little text prompt.
This is so interesting. You know what's so funny? I was complaining about Lovable because I was like, Bolt has this. Why doesn't Lovable? I just didn't know it was under mode. Because I like being able to talk to it. Because that's why you see on the other one, I was like, do not write code. Just talk to me.
Yeah. Just do the chat mode. The chat mode. So what I do is that, everybody here, I'm giving you guys a cheat sheet. Maximum of 5 tasks at a time in the chat mode. Be like, hey, I want to enhance the homepage. I need to do this. And the way that I write my prompts is that I identify which page needs it first. On the homepage, we need to update this section. On the profile page, we need to make this image bigger. On this page, I put that all into chat, and then chat says, okay, here's everything that you asked for. Bah, 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 bah. And then at the very end, don't break the functionality. Boom, go.
You see this? VO says, sorry, I can't.
Wow.
What? That is new. I've never experienced them telling me no. Ever.
Is that too big of a prompt?
No, because did I delete the other one? I just put the other one in there yesterday and it worked fine. I wonder why it's like I can't do this with you. I feel like it broke up with. I feel like I don't know how to feel. Vault isn't doing anything. Oh, I never put anything in Mocha. Replit is acting. I have an error with Replit.
I sometimes think that sometimes these platforms get overwhelmed with the prompt, and like it's almost like they force you to kind of like be simple at first, so you can kind of like go through your credits. I think that's like my logic of it, but I think this is why like I'm in love with Lovable, because you're able to just one shot it. Look what we got.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely is. Yeah,
I've tried buttons. I've tried Bolt. I've gone through all of them. Hands down, for me personally, personal reference, is definitely Lovable. Just based off the core functionalities and features and how much they're shipping and stuff like that, and how far I got a product to MVP without understanding deep knowledge of schemas, super base, functionality. The troubleshooting, you are still going to have to go back and forth, but once you know how to troubleshoot, you can build anything. I think that's kind of like the logic through it.
Your next class, Addy.
Yeah. Well, next class, I'm trying to cook up with creative here.
Yeah, we can build something pretty dope. So here's the thing: we've only gone 2 prompts in. We're supposed to do 20 prompts. So imagine what 20 prompts could actually could take you.
Wow. I'm so. I don't know what the words are to explain. Here's a problem that I ran into with mine. Sure. That, like, I already had questions I wanted to ask. And so, like, if the AI isn't making the questions, that makes it a little difficult. And then I have answers. I have a database of apps already for it to pull from. And so that was also kind of I don't think it's like not doable. I think it was like a skill issue on my end of like figuring out how to get it to pull from the actual database of apps that I have, because I like that I recommended some, but like sometimes you swipe forever. After you swipe 20, like you might want to keep swiping. I don't know. I just wanted to have more. And this is a whole database of people, communities, apps, crypto, Web3, and AI tools. So like, and AI companion tools. So it's like a whole slew of stuff in there that I wanted to feed from. And I still don't understand. I know that like I have a JSON file that I made that it could pull from, but I haven't been able to make A plus B equals C yet. Which now that I know about the chat mode, I can ask it how it thinks about implementing that.
Don't no more default mode. New rule, guys. No more default mode. Chat mode first. Integrate chat mode first. Make sure it's actually doing, because sometimes I'll go into the default mode, I'll change and it change my functionality, my colors. I'm like, we didn't even talk about this. Like we didn't even talk about you implementing moving buttons around or changing my UI. I just wanted you to change this section and so forth, right?
Yeah.
So go to chat mode first. See what pages are being changed, because as you're going to get better, you're also going to be going into dev mode and just making the changes yourself too, and eventually, right? If it's a small text or something like that. So let's see how the swiping looks like now regarding this.
Oh, let me go to Discover. So the swiping, it doesn't let you pull it. Like you can't literally swipe it, but this is not a mobile app. I don't know how relevant swiping would be.
Go to the very top and hit the where it says Discover to the left of it. That little desktop. Hit that.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we're in mobile mode.
Okay.
Now this is what it's supposed to look like as well. And again, now it's time to do the fun stuff, the UI stuff.
I want to show both. See, yeah, I mean, like, shit. Now I have two.
And I guess, Karima, to your point, when it comes to like pulling that, I think that's probably gonna take maybe a Python script to pull that data. That what you want is real customized. Like you want these apps to kind of pop up, and I think a Python script is probably something that you may have to lean on. I personally don't think that Lovable would be able to pull all that for you.
Hold on. How many do I have? Because the other one I showed y'all was black and white.
She's been cooking.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh no, I have two. Oh, okay. So when I use the extension, it did this one. And then when I just copy and pasted it right into it, it did this one.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're a little different, you see this is different.
I like the gradient. That's dope.
I do too.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay. Yeah, it's a better user experience. I think this one.
It is a better one.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. You got it. Yeah. That's it. Well, here's the thing. You don't have your thumb. You're just using your mouse, so you can't get the full swipe effect.
I
but
like
this is dope.
Mine way better.
This is cleaner.
Yeah.
Is
this a one shot? Is this a one shot?
Yes. Yeah. One shot. But here's the thing: they're the exact same prompts, but one of them was when one of them went through this guy, and the other one went just copy and paste. I don't know what would be.
Well, that's the thing. It's that now that you got your one prompt, run it through a couple times and run through. I would throw it in a Lovable 3 different versions and see which one comes out the best for you and build off of it. That's the best part about vibe coding, right? Yeah.
See, on this onboarding, I like the questions were a little different. And now I'm thinking maybe I don't need 10 questions. I like the emojis, but these are all things I can add into the other one, right?
Yeah. Or add that into your prompt. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Right into your Bluemint. So take your Bluemint, make adjustments based off of it, and definitely take it through like Lovable, but also run like 2 Lovable or 3 Lovable and see which one actually hits better. The prompting is not going to change. It's just, how it's going to take in the language models. I don't expect one prompt that's going to look exactly the same on every single time.
This one is a little, look at this swipe. This is the one I made. So look at this swipe. Just struggle.
So go inside the chat mode. Mm-hmm. And be like, explain to me what you did for the swipe action and what functionality that you did so I can give to my dev team. You take that, put that into your other prompt, and then now you're cooking with the same recipe.
Oh.
It's prompt engineering 101. Like this is the part where like we as a community need to kind of help people and go through these fun exercises to figure out how does Addie think? How does Creative think? How does Miss Love think? So then we can kind of learn from each other. Because I'm learning every single day, and I'm in these discords, and these guys are like, "Yo, you're doing it wrong," and I'm like, "Oh, okay," you know. So there's levels to this.
There is levels. I mean, there are so many levels to this. It's so cool. So like, I like this. This is cute, right? I like the other one better. The other homepage is better. Is there a home here? No, just a profile, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the Discover is a different. This was plus minus, which is, I think that's cool. This Discover, they don't have a Discover. Discover is the app swiping part of onboarding that I have, which is this part, which is cool.
My one thing with the white thing is that you wouldn't know to swipe left or right.
Oh yeah, the white was like bare. It was like
Gotcha.
it was no branding in there because I was getting frustrated. See, this timeline is not nowhere near as cool as this timeline. This timeline is like, it's giving. It's just better.
Visuals, the UI, because that's the UI that you added inside, right? So now you got some color things to fix and some UI stuff, which is, you know, I feel like that's the fun stuff is messing around with the UI and the interface and so forth to make it look like your branding. But you know, how many prompts did you put into the other one for you to get it to that perspective?
One.
Okay, cool.
It was the same. Like I one-shotted it, and then I think I asked it to make something smaller in the files.
Cool.
And I told it I have a list of apps. So here's the thing. This wasn't in chat mode, and so I messed it up. But I have a list of apps. How can I add those so they can appear? I didn't know about chat mode. So I just put it in there, and then it started doing shit. You know what I mean? Like it didn't.
Yeah.
So this is going to be helpful because now I kind of want to like marry the two. They both are like almost there.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put it in ChatGPT and tell it, hey, look, both of these are giving. Help me help, and then go back to Blue Mint one more time to like refactor it again, because I really believe in this the one shot, like optimizing for that one shot first and then going from there versus like building and but it just makes it so much messier, so much clunkier.
Yeah. I did that with me because when I first started building, I built out the homepage and I was like, okay, let's build the profile page. And I didn't have anything in the profile page. I was like, well, we need to add a profile image, grab the image. Oh, we also need to grab their username. We also need to grab their email, right? And it was just credit after credit. And it was like 3 hours just to build something that, man, it could have been built in like 30 freaking seconds. And I was like, golly. Yeah, so things like that really, I think, will help up the process. And that was the whole reason why I added this to the hackathon is like, how can I help developers? How can I help people that are building that maybe don't have any experience and they're just trying to get their ideas and they just have some type of iteration, or get them to think long term and get them to at least start somewhere where they can be like, wow, this looks a lot better than trying to do it myself. And the other thing is the money, man. I spent like over $200 on my credits with Lovable within the first week. And I'm a software engineer. I have a ton of experience in this, right? And I realize it's a good model for them. Obviously, you're going to be spending a lot of credits. It's going to run up pretty quickly, right? But I'd rather use those credits to build more functionality, to create more products, or connect to the database or the tables, and get my MVP out there better, so that I can come back and build more things that the user wants.